Little tech problems over here. But hi, I made it. One of the hardest things to do in musical theater is to create something complex, but also to make it sound simple and inevitable. That is the key. Simple and inevitable. Rodgers and Hammerstein had an incredible knack for this, and we can see this throughout the entirety of their work, their whole canon. Today, however, we're going to look at one of what I think is their most deceptive songs. I'm in Love with a Wonderful Guy from South Pacific. For a multitude of musical and lyrical reasons, this song has been pointed to over the years as being the exact type of musical theater oversimplicity that seems to take depth away from the art form. It's a song and actually an entire score that I've heard derided by audiences and artists alike as we've moved further away from its premiere, which was a long time ago, my friends. And I've also heard it parodied when making fun of musical theater as a genre as well. However, there's a beautiful complexity hidden in plain sight that allows the song to do all of the necessary work without calling attention to the work of the writers. Isn't that what we're all striving for at the end of the day? Seems to me like this song needs a little more kudos. So, how's it all work? Let's dive in, break it down, and find out. Thank you, David. I appreciate that lovely little pun directly from the song. Here we are. I'm glad you're here. You're a wonderful guy. So, as we dive in here, just a reminder, as we do these breakdowns, I'm going to take us through, we're going to talk about the music, we're going to talk about the lyrics, we're going to talk about what's happening. This is for Nellie Forbush. If you don't know South Pacific, what are you doing? It's classic canon. Go learn about it. There are some problems with that show. That is for real. We're not going to stray away from that. But it's a gorgeous score. It's beautifully crafted. And the music here is really fantastic. This song has a lot of different parts to it. It starts with a long verse. Oh, this is in Act 1 in the show. I don't know, a little over halfway through Act 1? I guess we're toward the end of Act 1. Nellie, who has never needed a man and never thought she was going to have a man, has found herself falling for a man. That's pretty much the setup. That's all you need to know for this. Unless someone disagrees with me and wants to say more, please feel free to do so in the comments as we go along. We start with a very long verse here, and it has this gorgeous opening. I expect every one of my crowd... Oops. I'm going to play it correctly this time. I expect every one of my crowd to make fun of my proud protestations of faith in romance. And then we have this little fun thing that I can't fully play, but this... And they'll say I'm naive as a babe to believe any fable I hear from a person in pants. Fearlessly I'll face them and argue their doubts away, turning my pay. Proudly I'll sing about flowers and spring. Flatly I'll stand on my little flat feet and say, love is a grand and a beautiful thing. I'm not ashamed to reveal the world famous feeling I feel. And then we're going to move into the next thing, which is very exciting, but I'm not going to do it yet. Hey Danielle, welcome. Glad you're here with us. Okay, that's a long verse. It's pretty lengthy. We got these multiple sections. They're connected in a way, and they take us through kind of a progression, leading us to where we're headed into the chorus proper. Woo! We start in minor for a song about love. Minor. And in fact, really where we're headed to, spoiler alert, when we get to the chorus itself, that's going to be in C major, so we're starting in C minor. Ooh. Da 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 da. But by adding in that little 7 there, we've already cut the minor feel. We know we're not going to stay there, and that's just a very smart way to take us through a progression, right? This is very minor, feels a little less daunting. Ooh. So then we have moved to our 4 chord with a 7 and a 2, and it's major. So really giving a glimpse of the brightness already. But we're not fully going there, because then we kind of undercut it a little bit. I mean, not really, it's still a 7 chord. But then we're going to return right to our C minor feel. Why? Because, well, she has spent the entirety of her life saying, I don't need man, I don't need love. Pah! Right? And that's actually what she's talking about, too. I expect every one of my crowd to make fun of my proud protestations of faith and romance, right? She has constantly been protesting people's faith and romance. In terms of melody here, we're not doing much, right? We're going to keep this nice and talkative, which is lovely for verse material. I expect every one of my crowd to make fun of my proud protestations of faith and romance. Very right here in the middle, talkative range for the vocal, talkative part of the vocal range for this character. Beautiful. We love it. What are we doing in terms of our rhyme scheme? 1 and fun, landing on those down. Do you expect every one of my crowd to make fun of my proud protestations? Little alliteration with love, faith, and romance. That's it. Not much in that rhyme scheme. Then the second time around on it, and they'll say I'm naive as a babe to believe. Naive, believe, lovely. Any fable I hear from a person in pants. So mance and pants are supposed to rhyme. If you've spent time with me before, you will know that I do sometimes bring up the setting of the word romance in this song as a beautiful illustration of a misaccent or misstress. To romance, but romance is the noun. Does it bother most people? No. And if it does, the song moves on. It's one little word, but we are set up here to rhyme romance with pants. Also, just to show the age of the show, a person in pants. Because only men wear pants. Right? Although, is that a comment on the age of the show? Is it a comment on the time period? Is it a comment on the nurses' uniforms in World War II in the South Pacific? Or all of the above? Lots of questions. You do you. And then again with this, that right there is so good. First of all, because it's just gorgeous on the ear. But we're hitting this in forte. And the first time we land back on this C minor to do another round, and they'll say I'm naive as a babe to believe. Same exact music. Any fable I hear from a person in pants. Then this time as we land this, and we're starting out wider, we're coming back in together. We land major for the first time. The key actually hasn't changed on the paper, but we're hitting that C major tonality and we love it. Nurses in the Navy wore pants. I did not know that. Thanks for that, David. Thank you for looking that up. See, no excuses. It's just stereotypes and bias. Yeah, so we finally land our C major here. And we've been so grounded in root so far. We're gonna sit over the 5th here while we do this lovely lead in. Do you remember how before we had used that 7 to cut the minor feel? We're going straight to our 7 again. And we're staying minor feel to major. Right? It's this weird little push and pull, this darkness, lightness that we've seen all throughout the musical theater canon if you've been watching these analytical live streams, which, thank you if you have been. But we have minor to major, while she says the word fearlessly. And we have fearlessly, I'll face them and argue their doubts away. So, this is the first time we've lifted above E flat at all. Major, we're adding in an augment on that 5. Ooh, fun! Doubts away. Just for a little extra tension that we're immediately gonna break, right? I'll face them and argue their doubts away. Because doubts are the important thing. Is she having doubts? No, she is not. She's lovely. Loudly, I'll sing about flowers in spring. When we get here, we're over our 2, right? We still have the C in the bass, and we're hitting that 5. But we've gone to our 2 chord. And if we're treating this more like a C major tonality, again, that's a minor 2 here. But it feels so lovely and warm and comforting, right? Loudly, I'll sing about flowers and so loudly. And then we're going to, we have our 5 chord with 7. Again, we're treating this like C major tonality now, right? Sing about flowers and the spring. Oh, how warm and cozy is that? Just a lovely C major 7, major 7. And we land the vocal right on the 7 in the same octave that's being played in the instrumentation. It sounds so nice. I'm a real nerd for musicals. My goodness. Sometimes I surprise myself. Flowers and spring, because it's just so pretty. And we've had these little ba-da-da-da, these little falling patterns, okay? I skipped the first round of them. I don't know why. So fearlessly, I'll face them and argue their doubts. I didn't even mention this. As we go there on doubts, it's actually, that is an E major chord here over our C. Doubts away. So it's a major but with dissonance, which we love. Doubts away. And then, is that supposed to be there? Yes, it is. Loudly, I'll sing about flowers in spring. Oh, so pretty. We do it again, different words. Flatly, I'll stand on my little flat feet and say, love is a grand and a beautiful thing. Before I continue that, a couple little changes here. Oh, we didn't even talk about lyric. So fearlessly, I'll face them and argue their doubts away. Again, we're getting that alliteration. Fiercely face. They love it here. Loudly, I'll sing about flowers in spring. We've already set up the F idea. We're bringing it back right now with flowers. We love it. Flatly. Oh, so just F's everywhere. It's just really fun. And then we're going to say flatly, I'll stand on my little flat feet. So many F's, right? And then we are, for our second line of this phrase, again, going to start with an L word. First time around it was loudly. This time it is love. Love is a grand and a beautiful thing. Those little markers are really lovely to help ground the audience's ear, because this kind of feels like a meandering verse the first time you hear it if you don't know what's coming, which is like none of us, because I assume you've heard the song before, but maybe you haven't. I don't know. This could be new to you. That, though, is also something so specific to musical theater, because musical theater is an American art form, and we speak English in the musical theater in America. That's a lot of blanket things that all boil down to American musical theater is written in English most of the time. English has this weird history where we actually, Old English poetry didn't utilize rhyme, it utilized alliteration. That's how the poets memorized the epic poems that they went around and they were singing. So there's like this baked-in history of a love of wordplay and alliteration, and then rhyme was kind of brought in from other traditions of other languages, notably French, into our language as well. So by the time that we're hitting musical theater creation, we get to use all of it. And there's something about it that just feels correct to the ear when it's done in English. So when you see a lot of alliteration, or if you choose to utilize it in your own songs, it's a great way to keep people engaged and grounded in what you're saying. And it's very subtle, but it's fun. Flatly, I'll stand on my little flat feet and say, she has no qualms about not being perfect, which we love about her. Love. And this is where we cut out some instrumentation for the first time. It has been so steady up until now. Love is a grand and a beautiful thing. Same chords that we were doing before. We're just leaving space. Why? Because love. That's what it's all about, baby. Great. And then thing. Instead of just droning the G here, the 5, now we have 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. We're changing. Things are changing. The baby's coming. That's a Wicked reference. I'm sure you know that. Okay. But this is just lots of different versions of C major chords, right, with that happening underneath. Then we have the last piece of the verse. I'm not ashamed to reveal. So that right there, we have a pedal tone C with staccato happening here with that G A. Chord-wise, so now we're on an F, we're singing F, we've moved to F as our home base for this quick little moment here. The key has officially changed to C major though. I'm not ashamed to... That's fun, right? So we're getting this F, a dissected, essentially G7 with a 2, to reveal, and then we're getting that major 7 again, that C major 7, we love it, it's so warm and cozy, the world famous feeling, again we're cutting out, because we're ramping up to the thing, I feel, and we're gonna do our ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and then we're in the chorus, great. So, I'm not ashamed to reveal, which normally I would say may be protesting too much for most musical theater characters, but boy is Nellie honest. And it doesn't feel like she is protesting too much. I think she actually isn't ashamed to reveal it. Is there some doubt? Yes. There wouldn't be a plot if there wasn't a little bit of doubt. But I don't think in this moment she's ashamed to reveal this. The world famous feeling, I feel, the F's, they're back. Just pointing that out too. World famous feeling, just a little minor move. Who doesn't love a 4 major to a 4 minor? And then I feel, we're gonna do that over the 5. We've spent so much time over the 5, which is good because then we're gonna land on the 1. It's gonna be great. And now we have this happening under feel. I'm gonna play it slowly so I actually hit all the notes for this so we can hear that. Feel. Isn't that cool? So really what we're just playing with in terms of melody inside the piano bit is... We're just going to land on there, right? Lovely. But what does that mean? What is this? That's an E to an E flat. That's our major to our minor to our major to our minor. Haven't we been doing that the whole time? But now that it's over the 5, paired with these other notes, we've recontextualized it, right? Because now we're essentially over a G7. We're just throwing in that major 6, minor 6, major 6, minor 6, 1. Yay! Isn't that fun? I think it's fun. If you don't think it's fun, okay. The other thing to note about that is it is kind of a foil, because that is forte, and with a lot of accents written in, accents and staccatos. That's a foil to when we were doing before these little things. Right? That kind of minor, blah, 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 that accent between things. Now we're, again, major. I'm as corny as cats in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. No more a smart little girl with no heart. I have found me a wonderful guy. I am in a conventional dither with a conventional star in my eye. And you will note there's a lump in my throat when I speak of that wonderful guy. Before we move on to the B section, let's talk about that a little bit. We're in C major now, very comfortably. And this is where people begin to, in modern days, from what I've seen, roll their eyes at this song. For so many reasons, right? It's partially the lyric, it's partially just how C major it is, which people consider basic for some reason. I don't know why. C major is not actually basic. No more basic than any other major key. Major is major. And we're not just sticking with triad. That's not what we're doing here. They're fun chords. Anyway, I have feelings. But let's talk about this for a hot sec. So we just did 2 A sections. This is going to be an AA, BA 32-bar chorus. It's going to be lovely. Then we'll do an extension on the end. Huzzah! What are we doing in terms of our bass line? We're giving a nice 1-5, which is great because when we switch up to a 2, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 4, 5, 1. That bass line right there, yeah, it's that simple, totes my goats. We love it though. Why? Because of a couple reasons. Number one, this is so comfy, your audience will buy anything with that in the bass line, right? Sondheim very famously talked about this, where you can add an oompa, like a 1-5 oompa in the bass of anything, or a pedal tone in the bass of anything, and you can write whatever the heck you want on top of it. The audience will buy it because it's grounding, right? It's grounding to our ear. And what is Nelly in this moment if not grounded? Maybe a little too grounded. We'll talk about that in a hot sec. But this also allows for an easy shift to another key, or excuse me, to another chord in the key center without breaking up that grounded feel. Because if you're always returning to that 5, we will expect that we are in good hands, always. So we start on a C major, 4 bars, where our papa of the papa is just a C major triad. We love it. We switch to a lovely, it's a 2 chord with a 7, but the 7's on the bottom, so we're still in our C, which has this rising feel now, and then again with that rising feel, we're going to an inversion of our 5-7 here. That feels like, ooh, we could be going somewhere. We're teasing it. We're not going there yet, which is kind of what this whole thing's about, musically. Kind of lyrically too, but mostly musically. And we go back and forth between those two. When we get to No More, a smart little girl with no heart, now we're actually doing an A minor. But we've kept the C in the bass, so it feels more like a lifted 6 feel than an actual minor chord. Smart little girl with no heart I have. Again, it's that rise and fall, rise and fall. Where are we headed to? We're headed to Found Me a Wonderful. What are we doing? What is this? C major. B or E minor, A minor, C major, 4, 4, 5, 1. This, and this goes with the melody too, right? That da 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 da. We're teasing that octave. We're teasing that higher C. We can't stay there yet, though. That means there's something important about it, right? This whole thing has been a rise, but we're not going there. Right? We can't give it yet. There's a reason. We'll talk about it. One more minute here. One other thing I want to talk about in the music of this, which adds to the complication in a good way. It's complex in a way that is simple. I love simple complexity. I heard it. You don't have to say anything. Alright, so we have that I'm as corny as Kansas in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. This inner part writing full measures of just notes that move stepwise, and then they stop. Why? What is this? Of course, it adds to the complexity of the chords, because when we have this, so what was just a C major triad before now has that major 7 attached that was so warm and comfy in the verse, and it's still warm and comfy, but it's being repurposed here, right? Corny as I'm as corny as Kansas in August, right? So having that moving inner part just adds a little flavor to these chords that seemed simpler before we had that in there. And then this that's in the chords, that's fine. I'm as normal as tonality. No more a smart little girl with no heart. I don't have enough fingers for this. Found me a wonderful guy. It just makes it sound so rich. I know it's simple. I know it's C major. I know we're just sticking inside the tonality of the key. Nothing wrong with that. But it feels rich. Why? One part. One inner part. Ugh! So good! Richard Rodgers, you outdid yourself. You sneaky. Okay. The music is almost essentially the same for the second A section, so let's talk about this melody for a moment. Remember how we were floating over our 5 for so much of the verse? What does the melody do? I'm as corny as Kansas and all, yada da. That G, A, G. Didn't we do that in the bass line before too? Yeah, whenever you're running out of ideas, friends, borrow from yourself. If you wrote something that was working, repurpose it in the same song or in other songs. It's a great thing to do. Ah, da, 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 da. And then we're gonna do our major. Ah, da, da. But again, remember those little punches from inside the verse. Love is a grand, the world famous feeling. Right? Those little moments of lift. We're doing it and we're adding it into the chorus too. It's a smart choice. And we're taking the first phrase and we're running it directly into the beginning of the second phrase, which is great for audience attention. Ah, so good. I'm as corny as Kansas in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. Where does pie land? On the B. Isn't that where we landed for flowers and spring? Blueberry pie. It's a nice little callback. This time it's being used as the leading tone though, because we want to get off this chord. We just want to go home. We want to go to our C. No more a smart. And that's really the first time that we are using the C, the tonic, the root, for our ramping up point. And we have a feeling, just based on this, the fact that we started here, then we come down, da 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 da. It's inevitable that we're aiming for the upper C. We have to get there, right? The ear, it's been seeded. No more a smart little girl with no heart, I have found me. And we get there, we do just, it's a scale. No more a smart little girl with no heart, I have found me when we diffuse. There's more to say, we can't stay up there, right? No more smart little girl with no heart, I found me a wonderful guy. Wonderful guy, there's our hook. Wonderful guy. What a guy. That's a Hannah Gadsby reference. Okay. What are we doing in terms of lyrics? I'm as corny as Kansas in August. Again, she's calling out her own corniness, and people who don't like musical theater do point to this lyric and this song as like a, look, it's so corny. Yeah. Kind of her point. Right? Not that the genre is corny, not even that the song is corny, but she is a corny human, and she's feeling corny, and she's leaning into her corniness. You know? I'm as normal as blueberry pie. That is not a comment on the genre that is musical theater, which, let's be real, was very new at the time still. But more of her, and how she feels in this moment, and who she is as a person, right? She always calls herself so, like, normal. Except she's an optimist. Other than that, she's normal, right? That's why people think she's not interesting. She's an interesting character. I think I'll die on that hill. Not sure. Probably. I'm as corny as Kansas in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. No rhymes yet. No more a smart little girl with no heart. Internal rhyme. We love an internal rhyme. I found me a wonderful guy. Okay, so pie and guy. That's our setup. We move on to I am in a conventional dither with a conventional star in my eye. Okay, so we have used the same word twice. Conventional. It's an odd choice, but okay. If we're being conventional, you're setting up convention and following through on it, well, I guess you're proving your point that you are indeed conventional, right? Dither, it's a great word. Dithers, withers, into the wind. Dither with a conventional star in my eye. The only thing that really changes for us is before in the first one we had I'm on campus in August. I'm pause. As normal as blueberry pie. We don't have a pause on this one. Dither with a conventional star in my eye. And the word choices there kind of ask you to do a pop, 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 pop. Right? Kind of keep it detached. So, just a writing thing. Choose your consonants wisely. And you will note there's a lump in my throat. Love the internal. When I speak of that wonderful guy. Okay, I got it. Here we are. This time when we land on guy, we do change our tonality a little bit. So we have to go into a B section. There's more to say. Speak of that wonderful guy. Oh, it's so nice. So we've moved to B flat. That is our minor 7. But we've made this a B flat major 7 chord. Yay! Into the woods, anyone? Wrong key center. It's here. Either way. Guy. Now I'm going to play the B and sing it for a sec. This is one of the most interesting pieces of music in their entire canon, is this one little B section. I'm as trite and as gay as a daisy in May, a cute cliche coming true. Then we have this little thing up here, which we'll talk about in a moment. I'm bromidic and bright as a moon happy night, pouring light on the... Oh my god, this is a spread. I'm final A. Great. You know, it's good that you have big hands. How are you supposed to play this stuff? Anyway, here we go. Chords. So, guy. And then we move on to, guy. These are the chords under I'm as trite, the beginning of the B. Do you hear the inner part writing in what it does for the chord? Yes? Remember, we set up that complexity in the A sections. We're following through, friends. We're following through. What are we doing in terms of our chord structure? We've got a C minor with the 7 attached. Didn't we see that before? They seeded it. If it wasn't so good, I'd be mad about it, you know? So, here we are. So we're going to an F7 now. Okay, so our 4-7. We are back to that B flat major 7. So this is a 5, a minor 5. So G minor. With that 7, we're putting the 7 in the bass. And then we're landing straight back on this B flat major 7. And breaking it down. Right? 7, 1. Right? That feeling that we've heard so many times already. Just broken down in a way that's leading us forward. Always leading us forward. It's so good! Second half of the B. Okay, now we feel lifted. We feel more like we're close to home, right? This is really a that 2 chord again with a 7. We've already heard that, right? That's the same chord here. That's just our standard 5-7 chord. That's our C major with this major 7 again. So we've come home essentially already in our tonality, but we have to like ramp up to a true home landing. So now we need something a little bit different. This is where we pull in what really is like a 3-7, an E minor 7 here, to an A major 7, which is not in our key center, so we can go to our 2-7 to 5-7. That's just a good progression right there, right? To pull us to that 3 minor 7, 6 major 7, so we can get around to 2 major 7 to our 5-7 in the key, and then we land back on 1. Yay! Take that trick, friends. Use it. It's good. Now, one other major thing about the chords in here which also makes this song a little bit hard for people to learn at first. I've taught this one and coached this one many, many times over the years, and people have a hard time finding their notes. Oh, gee, I wonder why. They're not in the chord where we were just playing. So, speak of that wonderful guy. That one is thank you. But this is the chord, and she is singing the F. It's not in the chord. I'm as, that adds some depth to it. I'm as trite as, we're sitting within the bounds here, but we're not actually agreeing with the chords until here. Gay as a daisy in, but then we're pulling back out of the chord again. May a cliche coming true. Does that have anything to do with how she's feeling in this moment? I'm as trite and as gay as a daisy in May, a cliche coming true, right? We are hitting the same rhyme over and over and over and over, and we're talking in words that sound like they are indeed trite and gay, right? But instead, we're adding the complexity into the music, right? Because even though she's saying, I feel so surface level happy, we know that there's more to it than that, and she is proving that through the music. Yay, that's just great writing. A cliche coming true. Then here, this word is bromidic. Bromide is utilized to make things glow in the dark. That's a deep cut. Also, the word bromidic I don't believe exists. But bromidic and bright. What a weird thing as a choice. They took a risk with that word. Again, it's not in the chord. I'm bromidic, dick. A little grace note written in there because she's having fun. I'm bromidic and bright as a moon happy. Again with the grace note. Night pouring light on the dew. Okay, in terms of our rhyme scheme, let's just talk about that. Traded as gay as a daisy in May. Cliche. A quad rhyme. We love it. Coming true. So we're going to rhyme across the two lines, the two phrases of the B section. Bromidic and bright as a moon happy night pouring light. Oh, we only get 3 that time. It always saddens me just a little bit. Kind of wanted that 4th one. It's fine. Pouring light on the dew, so we rhyme across. And then here we are. Do, I am as corny as can. Oh, sorry. I am as corny as, and then we change here. Kansas in August, high as a flag on the 4th of July. Again, they don't give you enough fingers for this song. As though they've issued me a certain number of fingers. Who is they? I have questions. If you'll excuse an expression I use, I'm in. And then I'm not going to give it to you yet, because I'm rude. Okay, so as we return to our A section, we start right as we expect. Ya, da, 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 da. But then we immediately change it. We have our C major 7 feel, corny as. Then we lower that 7, and now we're in that major 7 feel. Major chord, minor 7 is what I'm trying to say. Dominant 7 feel. Kansas in August. So it's just a little flavor of something different, but now we're going to follow through on it. Because essentially what we have is a descending line inside our inner voice. I told you the inner voice was important in this song. Da, da, da. That's August. Then we have high as the flag on the 4th of July. So we are taking that inner voice, and it's leading our chord progression and causing chaos in a delightful way, because we have that minor feel again with the A flat, a standard G chord, our D major 7 that we just utilized in the B section. What? We're bringing it back in our 3rd A. Fancy, right? Always recycle from yourself. Trust yourself. You're smart. Use you. Do good things. Go forth. Into our 5-7, right? The whole point is to land on that 5-7, so we feel real importance to this last time we're going to sing this hook. Well, last time, because it's the last A of the 32-bar chorus. Because this one's important. Why? We'll see in a second. So one more time so you can hear that. I'm as corny as Kansas in August, high as the flag on the 4th of July. And also, if you notice, there's no more pa. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the chords in the right hand there. Now, here we go. If you'll excuse, we're right there on our C7. We're going for it. If you'll excuse an expression I use. Woo, that's a lovely ramp-up chord right there. Use, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with a wonderful guy. That's not the end of the song. We're going to do more in a hot sec. But, remember how I said we're going to the C? The C is the thing. That's what we need, the C. That's where the love is. It's on the upper C. If you'll excuse an expression I use, love in a rhyme. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Love is on the B, not the C. Why? Because the hook is actually wonderful guy, so we have to land wonderful guy on the C. Love, I'm in love, I'm in more. We're gonna dance and flirt with the B and the C. Love with the wonderful guy. How many times do we sing it? I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Then the full phrase. I'm in love with a wonderful guy. 5. But we ain't done yet. So, chords underneath this. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in. So that's our 2, 7 again. Love, I'm in. That's our minor 3. We're going to lift it to a major 3. Love, I'm in. But with an augmented 5 on it, so we have to keep going. I'm in love with the. That's again our 2, 7. Love it. Which leads us to our 5, 7. Wonderful guy. What a great lead-in. Also, this does cut to pianissimo. If you'll excuse an expression I use, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. With a crescendo. I'm in love with the wonderful guy. For a declaration of love. Come on, that is so well written. The actor doesn't have to do anything. I mean, they should. We then have a little interlude. And it's just the same thing we were doing before, rearranged a little bit. And it's cute. We come back around for a final A section. It's the same final as before, but with an extension. And the accompaniment changes. It's essentially the same thing that we did before, but we've altered it a tad. So this time as we're doing I'm as corny as Kansas in August. Before it was I'm as corny as. We went straight to our dominant 7 feel. We're going to delay it for a measure here. I'm as corny as Kansas in August. Right? But we're going to still have that. But we're going to cut that off because we're going to do something else in this last ramp up. We're going to take the ear on a little journey of chords that make a little sense, but just our registration has changed, right? Now we have triads down below. We're doing this full what we were doing before for da ba ba. We're gonna stick up here. Da 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 da. A lot more notes on the paper here, friends. Then we have for high as a flag on the 4th of July. You know, I honestly don't know a justification for it. I have no idea what Rodgers was thinking, but I love it nonetheless. That actually makes a lot of sense. What he does in the right hand, we've actually already done that progression earlier. He just extends it a little bit. That feels inevitable to land on our C. But the left is just giving mostly crunch. And I don't know what that's about. I would love to have asked him. Alas, here we are. So that brings us to And then I'm just going to go straight through the end. Pay attention to all the chord changes. All of them. All of them. We have... I'm as corny as Kansas in August, high as the flag on the 4th of July. That's hard to play. If you'll excuse an expression I use, I'm in love, 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 I'm in love with a wonderful guy. That's the song, that's the end. How many of them are there? There's 16 I'm in loves, and one I'm in love with a wonderful guy. We say I'm in love 17 times. And again, it's that da 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 da. Poor actors having to take breaths. Okay, again, we're starting on our 7 here, but we're kind of creating space first. Shh. Because then we're going to get these long 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I love that move. And these are all rolled. Doesn't sound really fancy when it's just me. We take 2 of the rolls out though, right there, because we're letting the audience know we're headed somewhere. Isn't that satisfying just on its own, just the bass line there? It's a good thing I rock Rachmaninoff-sized hands. My goodness. Then, again, we're lifting and we're keeping it pretty. We're keeping it warm. We're keeping our 7s going. We've heard all of these chords so far. So now we're taking multiple progressions we've utilized and we're splicing them together. That's our first new chord right there. That's actually just a lovely little C diminished to land us here to where we've been, but we use it on our way back up. That's our C major or C7, meaning C major with the dominant 7. Our first standard chord in the whole thing is our 4 chord. But then we go to B flat 7. Not a major 7 like we did before, but a standard B flat 7. So we know we have to make our way home. What are we doing? We are doing, I don't know, what is this? I don't even know what chord this is. What chord is this? I guess it's an E flat with a 7 and a 6? And now we're on an A flat 7. Now we understand nothing about how we got here. Right, this is just crunch that lands us here. Finally to our 5 with a 7 and a 9. It's very rich, but it's like leading us somewhere, adding crunch, just to release the tension. And is there any point to adding the tension? Yeah, because we have to release it into the final thing that we say. I'm in love with a wonderful guy. That we had to say so many times. We had to say I'm in love 17 times just so we can land on guy in such a heroic and triumphant way. One more time straight through with the voice. If you'll excuse an expression I use, I'm in love, 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 I'm in love with a wonderful guy. Deceptive, my friends. It is so complex. You wouldn't know it at first glance, though. Boy, is that a good song. That's how we break that one down. I'm gonna take a sip of water. I got very excited about all that. This is one of my favorite songs from their canon for so many reasons. A lot of it is the deceptive complexity. And this song actually has inspired me just by studying this to use a lot of these tricks in my own music. I say tricks, but really like the idea of borrowing from yourself, setting up a game and then repurposing it as you go through, composing different things that mean something earlier on in the song and repurposing them, or writing the song proper, like the chorus piece, and then taking little bits of it and seeding it into the verse. Those kinds of things, they make a score feel so rich. Adding inner voice, especially well-led inner voice, can not only just add to the chord progression and make it sound gorgeous, but also can add a sustain that's not a pedal, that is really pretty, especially if you give it to a cello. I'm a fan of a cello. The complexity of chords, the use of the chord progression, when you get yourself into a pickle in terms of your chords, how to get out of it and back around to your tonic, how to increase tension in order to release it, how to use major and minor in a way that we have a reflection happening as a character either digs himself into a hole or digs himself out. There are so many wonderful things you can learn from studying a piece like this that, yeah, I get really excited about it. And lyrically, it's not complicated, but what it does really, really well. Except for romance. My only gripe with the whole thing, well, I guess I did gripe about romantic a little bit. That was me too. I love this stuff so much. But like, we don't talk about this enough. We just don't. Speaking of talking about things in musical theater writing that we just don't do, hey, I'm teaching a training next week? Mid-next week. For people, there's a new version of the Musical Theater Writing Collective coming. And so if you're not on the priority notification list, I'll drop a link to that. I think it's in the description, but I'm going to drop a link to that so you can sign up for it. Because there's a whole bunch of new stuff coming, so that we can really learn about all this as a community and come together and talk about this, to analyze, to support one another as we go through the process of adding these fun things into our work, making quality musical theater. There's so much to talk about and so much more that's coming. That training is happening live next week for people on the priority notification list. That was a secret till right now, so here we go. And then the replay will be available for people who can't make it live. But sign up for that list so you can be a part of that training and get the info. It's going to be real good. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that we need to know. Normally I would do a Q&A sort of thing. So if anyone has a question about anything, we've got like a couple minutes. I can answer one or two before I got to pop off. Meaning run, not like pop off. You know what I mean. I'm not a Gen Z. I don't use Gen Z language. You know, I say that, but it creeps in. When you work with as many Gen Zs as I do, it really comes into the language eventually. But if anyone has any questions, musical theater stuff, let me know. I'm going to take a sip of water. And then I'm going to eat lunch after this and do a coaching. It's going to be great. Also, if you want more nerdy stuff from the classical canon, I can do it. I can make that sacrifice. I can pull stuff up. I can make some beautiful music things happening. What day is the training? Great question. The training is I should know this off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. 95% certain it's Wednesday. Sign up for the list. You'll find out. That's the right answer. Sweet deal. Alright. Well, if no one's got any questions, then, hey, thanks for being here with me on this lovely magical adventure. I do hope you take away some stuff from what we talked about today and utilize it for yourself. It would be, I think, tough to not, but hey, not everyone writes in the same style, and the classical styles are not for everyone. I understand that, but I do think we can find use in pretty much any time period, any genre of composition and lyric writing that we can study, especially across an art form that's really only been around for 100 years. So Thank you all for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. You're the best. This community is the best. I adore you all. Sign up for the notification list. I will see you all very soon. And hey, have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Peace out, everyone. Bye.